singer, Managing Director of the Frank team. This year, we really wanted to find out what entrepreneurs face being in business. So we teamed up with two awesome organizations, Regret Nothing and AMF Consulting, to talk to as many entrepreneurs and business owners as possible to get the real story, not just the good stuff, but also the lessons learned, the war stories, and the times when you feel like giving up, what keeps you going. So we're going to bring all those interviews to you, and I hope it inspires you and engages you.
So Elevents is an events and promotions company, essentially. We specialise in event management, promotions, campaigns, and also public relations.
Success, what does that mean to you? The bucket lots of cash or
good question.
Else?
Yeah, I think, well, for me, I think when you start out, you envisage, oh wow, and a lot of people do, I'm going to be rich, this is the idea that's going to change the world, regardless of what it is. But I've since realised success for me is achieving things and being happy. If it's a project that I've knocked off that's been difficult, if it's getting through a difficult day, I mean, that's pretty minor, but I've achieved so much in just 3.5 years, more than I have in my entire life. So, and that to me is success.
That's growth, right?
And I'm happier than ever, having made the decision to do my own thing and seeing that it's working because I've, had these achievements along the way. And, I've been nominated for awards through, not to sort of skite there, but I wouldn't have thought I'd be in this position a few years ago. You just, when you're happier doing what you're doing, you bring in the positivity and it feeds off, and it's all karma. I think it all sort of circulates. So.
Yeah. And so when did you start? When did you get into Elevents?
So we started the business, I started about 2008, end of 2008, during the global financial crisis, which probably wasn't the best time to start, and I had many people telling me that, but it managed to take off fairly quickly, surprisingly. So, obviously people that weren't hiring full-time were looking for contractors, and we kind of went from there. So
I mean, because a lot of big businesses have really come across during depression or recession times, right?
Yes,
Just taking that risk.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So how did you get into it? So what were you doing before 2008?
So I was doing a similar thing. I've always worked in marketing communications, so in advertising, film, TV, PR, marketing, so on. So, and was always a contractor most of my life. So it was an easy slot for me just to transition, just to go right. I may as well do this for myself rather than chopping and changing companies and going through agencies. So I just decided to go for it, and it was fine within a few months.
So how did the first few months, how did you get your first customers or clients?
It was obviously a bit of research to start off. You've got to think of a name, what do you specialise in, how do you get yourself out there. I think I started going to networking events and managed to meet people who happened to need, events and PR and just sort of took off fairly quickly. In fact, all of our businesses come through referrals, which is still continuing. And, back then was how it started. People would refer us to me, rather, it's the start of it. But, it was all through referrals. So I just have someone call me up and say, oh, so-and-so's put me onto you, we're looking for this. And so it's panned out quite nicely.
So it's 2012, 4 years.
Yeah.
What have been some of the ups? What are some of the successes or thrills so far that you think, this is why I got into business? Yeah,
I love the variety. We have so many different clients that we work with, so many different projects. Some of them are really large. When I first started, actually, I was thrown in the deep end with a big promotional campaign. I had to hire 60 staff in a month, pre-Christmas. And, didn't quite have the resources, scrambled it together. It was fine, we pulled it off. It was right, this is it, if we don't make this, So, and that was great. That kind of launched us into, technology products or whatever. It was video cameras and, it's just the variety of different clients and the different events, like I said, and projects that we do.
So have there been some sort of testing moments where you thought, okay, this business may or may not sort of come through?
Not really, no. You have your slow periods where you're not frantic, There's always something though. There's never been where I haven't had any work, So there's always something, but I get a little anxious if it slows down a bit.
So what do you do at those times? When you see, you look at the pipeline and it's kind of empty slots.
Planning. That's the one time I think you'll find two businesses will start marketing themselves more when they've slowed down. That's their time to sort of get out there a bit more and push their marketing a bit more. So it's funnily enough, this week we lost a client, unfortunately, because their company went bust, not due to our marketing, of course, but they decided to fold the company, which is fine. So, things like that you don't expect, and that's a random phone call that I got, and I was like, okay, that's one less.
Help,
and then 2 other projects have been pushed back. So last week we were frantic, this week it's going to be quite a bit. I'm not concerned, we've got other stuff coming up. There's more next week. I've got an event this Sunday, big film festival, so... there's
So are you getting referrals from sort of because you've done really well with existing clients?
Previous jobs that I've done with another client. I got a call 2 days ago from a company I worked with, 3 years ago. So that. Which is when I first started actually. So they come back 3 years later. Oh, hello, great to hear from you. So
people who are looking to get into business, right? Or are just kind of in the first year, the tough time.
Yep.
Any things you've learned, in your business wisdom in the last 4 years that you'd love for them to sort of take note of?
Yeah, one thing I find, you get very excited about freedom and, oh wow, I can do my own thing now and I make my own money, I do what I want. It is important to get into a routine, because I found, even friends were calling me for coffees all the time. Oh yeah, great, I don't have to work, I do my own thing, It is important to have structure, because you're just wasting your time that you could be building up your business. So I think having, a 9 to 5 set hours or whatever it is.
Yeah, just a schedule.
Yeah, and also your clients will know that you're contactable then, and your suppliers and all that sort of thing. So having a routine is important. Also valuing what you do, not discounting too early. I've heard a lot of businesses, because I also do marketing consultancy on the side, a lot of businesses discount very early because they don't quite have confidence in what they're doing. So they'll offer their prices or freebies, you know, whatever they're offering, very low. And it's sort of, it's very hard to get back above that, price point, I guess, and to negotiate and actually make money later on. So, I mean, you can work out deals with people, maybe you give them a value add or something, but don't discount too early. But because I've been caught out with that, I had a couple of clients when I first started. One lady, funnily enough, one business I should say, but there was obviously one lady behind it, didn't pay their bill because the thing is, I discounted really early
against the previous.
It was an event that didn't come to fruition, so I done all the planning, and I learned from that experience. Okay, there's a few other things. So if you're doing events too, you get 50% off or whatever. So it's about your payment terms too, knowing how to sort of get your clients in the door.
So just back yourself, I suppose. How do you work? I think you talked about contracts, like the importance of putting
always
down
in writing. Yes, definitely, and that goes for working with friends too. I've had friends call up, and that's a very blurred line. You want to help friends, you want to do favours for them, but on the other hand, they've got to realise you've got expertise, you've got skills, you're using resources and contacts. So, that, and I've been sort of caught out before with a friend before. I mean, it's fine now, but
have you employed a friend or contracted?
No, I've worked with friends, but and we're fine. But I do know it's a tricky situation, because you don't want to hurt the friendship. That's right. And you also, they've got to realise it's a business at the end of the day. So yes, everything in writing is very important, regardless if they're a friend or a.
So suppliers, subcontractors, clients, all that.
Clients definitely, and stipulating what it is you're going to do for them. What are the terms under which what do they expect? I think spelling out as much as you can, not making it a ridiculously long contract either, though, because that will actually overwhelm them to the point where they don't want to fill it in.
That's right.
I've actually worked with companies that have had crazy contracts. They're just too too many clauses, and it's overlooked. So keep it simple, but make sure you do try and cover as much info as you can.
And so so let's say an SME or a new business owner wants to launch a product or a service. What are some really good marketing things to do? Like, what would you recommend if they were a client?
I guess it depends what sort of service. I mean, I'm obviously an advocate of PR. I think PR is fantastic. It's very cost effective.
It's sort of like, when you say PR, I think, because I don't know PR, media release to a bunch of sort of cold contacts. Like, what is PR? What's effective?
There's all sorts of things to PR. There's, working with stakeholders, there's word of mouth, generating word of mouth, whether it's PR through, a social media campaign. Like, it's all about spreading the word. PR is essentially, talking to your publics and relating to them, I guess, public relations, But most of the time, people are wanting publicity, so through media or whatever. And that's often a bit misinterpreted. People think that you just randomly send out all these media releases to everyone and do this. If you said 100, something's going to hit. And you're sort of waiting and hoping. A lot of people think, oh, great, there'll be something here. But, if it's not structured properly, and if you are randomly hitting it, for one, you're wasting your time, because it's probably not going to get picked up by all those people. You best have a strategy and target,
certain people,
media outlets, and organisations that have networks and newsletters or whatever that will actually pick it up and use it. So you're wasting your time if you do the scattergun approach. And also you could shoot yourself in the foot with some of these contacts. They might see your media release that comes in and go, well, they've obviously not done their research. This is not our market at all. This media release is not relevant to what we're doing. So you can actually almost get blacklisted by journalists and editors as well. So it's best to be very careful about doing your research. For people coming straight out of school, there's a different energy with young people, and they've got this go-get-em attitude, which is fantastic. And it should be a lot easier, and we're slowly starting to make that happen for not just young people, actually, anyone. I mean, people are retiring early, people are getting sick of their job. Anyone of any age to just get out there and go, you know what, I have an idea, let's make something happen. I mean, for me, I've been in business now 3.5 plus years or whatever.
You're old.
But I know, it's like I can't claim to be a startup anymore. But anyway. But it takes a while to learn. You learn so much about yourself, you learn so much about business processes. But the great thing about it is the networking, the number of people that you meet to then, grow your business, but realise other opportunities as well. So it's not just about growing your business, or it may change. I mean, from the moment you write a business plan, you've got an idea and a vision in your head about something. But it'll change. It'll change within a few months. That's why my tip also about that, don't make your business plan too complicated. Mine has changed completely, Just make it really simple. I'd say a one-pager and just, nut out the basics of what you want. It'll change. And, to be honest, I don't even review mine that often. I sort of change things along the way, like strategies. But the business plan is a little overrated, I think, in terms of making it this amazing, complex document. It just needs to be simple. Where are you going? What do you want? Who are your customers?
I did, the Pollinizer Incubator. I just did one of their courses, and they had a lean canvas, which is literally a one-pager, and it had like a couple of different columns on problem, solution, customer, target, and they're like, that's the plan. And you tweak and amend as you need to go, but that's it. Forget about the 10, 100-page thing.
It should be basic. Because, granted, people make money off, how to build a business plan.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Read a book this thick on how to do a business plan this thick. It's too much. It's overwhelming, and
I guess it's just things are changing way too fast.
Well, there's that, and the other thing too, it can intimidate people and deter them a little bit from starting. And that's another thing. Just start. It might not be perfect. It's not going to be perfect. Just make a start on anything. So if you've got a great idea, try and do a bit of research, see if it's feasible or not. There's actually websites online where you can sort of do a test. That's not to say that's the be all and end all whether your business will come off the ground, but there's a little guidance. But so that's another tip too. Just start, just do something to make it happen. I meet a lot of people, because I obviously deal with lots of companies in different environments, that are not happy in their jobs. So they have an idea or maybe a dream to have their own business. Just give it a go. I mean, the worst is you learn a lesson for sure either way. You might lose a bit of money, a bit of time, but life goes on, and it's something you will learn from. And if anything, most of the time, you're probably going to stick with it anyway. Once you've made that decision, I want to work for myself, and you'll do something, that'll probably be your life forever on. And just realising the opportunity and creating your own destiny. So,
sounds fantastic. Since you were talking, though, I had two questions that come up. One is going to routine, because you said it's easy to sort of get into this fairy tale that my time is my own now. But how as far as routine, what do you do? Is it do you wake up at a certain time? Do you okay, so
what is it? Late night, but I push the clock back a little bit. And I work at events who work late night. You have to celebrate.
That's right, you do.
Might be the occasional hangover. So
but is it like 6, 7?
It's usually I have a dog too, so I have to walk my dog to work, which is great. It wakes me up. So I like that little routine. But I'll wake up like 6:30 sort of thing. Just get into the day. I've sort of got a routine. I check emails first thing, but then I sort of operate officially in the office from 9ish. I'm in there a bit early. I don't go around advertising that, because you find the more open you leave your hours for everyone, they'll be extended anyway. So you're best keeping them a little bit tight. Like 9 to 5:30 is fine. I think for me that's how I advertise. And we do events that are after hours anyway, so it's like our hours that are whatever. But structure is very important, and even things like getting back to the emails. You get emails all day. It's so distracting, and when you're a bit lost with starting a business or running a business direction, it's so easy to go, I'll just check my emails, I'll just respond to this person.
Or it seems like you're working when you're always sending
but the thing is, it can generate, firstly it takes your mind off where you're heading, you lose focus. Secondly, you probably created more work for yourself, because you're responding to them, they expect you to be responding quickly, so generating this whole new process. So I try to only check emails intermittently unless it's something urgent that I'm waiting on. So even having a structure, like I try to do things, I allocate time for each task that I'm doing, and I've got various clients and multiple projects, and I'll say to myself, right, I've got half an hour to finish that task, and I'll usually do it once you've got, if you've given yourself a time deadline, you'll work towards it, rather than go, I've got till 5:30 and I want to do this and this. You actually structure your day a bit in terms of time allotments. And think about lunch would be maybe 1 or whatever. I actually find for me works a lot. Productive. And funnily enough, I'm someone that hates a lot of structure. I'm very unorthodox, but I have found that this has worked for me, because I was stuffing around a bit when I first started.
It's been awesome chatting to you.
Really
hearing about you.